Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So here's what's happened so far. First, let me give a shout out to S Jock for coming through on the Cash App. And I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind. Additionally, I wanted to tell you all that because what you do send, I use for the business with priority over anything else. And I have to still put mostly my own money into it, which I should. That means that everything you all have sent has gone into the business, and the priority on that is to pay the salaries of those who have already done the work. I went ahead and informed my agent that about a fourth of the salary payments have come from my audience, and that my audience is black men in the West, but black men of various nationalities and religions. So it's pretty much black men, mostly American, minority, other nationalities, or admixtures. Not that you can really mix nationalities, but you get what I mean. So what I've been pretty much telling him is that it's been black men. And I didn't tell him this because you asked me to. I told him this because I know that they needed to know this. I wanted the teachers to know that their salaries are paid not only by people in the U.S., but by people in the Americas and the continent, but by more specifically black men. I wanted them to know, and they will know. I wanted them to understand, and they will. You did not ask for any allies, but I know you deserve them. And I knew that this was a part of the world best suited. I knew that. I've been knowing that. I've understood that for a while. I was in the mall earlier today and I saw several people from the Philippines. And just like and I saw several of us, our people, and just when I saw them, I would feel this sense of relief. Like even if I accidentally bumped into them, it's cool. Everything's fine. So in any case, I want to go ahead and tell you what this is about. When you do migrate, of course, you have to know that before you actually move somewhere, you should visit if you can. Now, if you're in a position where the housing and the transportation to and from the job are taken care of, then, and that's what it's like in the Gulf, go ahead and take it, even if you never got a chance to visit. But if you have the option to visit a place before you move, visit, not because you're going to know what it's like to live there, but you'll know what it's like to be there at least. And it'll make it easier for you to learn what it's like to live there. So I'm not equating the two. I'm telling you that living there will be more difficult if you never visit it, unless, of course, certain things are arranged. And as in my case, housing and transportation were parts of the package when I first started, and still are for many new teachers. That part is great. And I've enjoyed it, and I don't have any regrets. I now am with a better employer. And what I've been told by three different sources is that academic honesty here is key. So, whereas through many parts of, in many Bedouin areas of the country, cheating's allowed, and a lot of foreign professors are the ones that let them cheat. A lazy Saudi professor will let them cheat, and foreign professors who are even lazy will let them cheat because they don't want the students to become sharp. They're usually professors of two nationalities that don't like Saudis. They'll let them cheat for those reasons. But where I am now, you're not allowed to let them cheat. Now, you may not be able to stop everything, and if you're not sure, you're not expected to write reports based on suspicion. You're not expected to prove every single case, but once you can catch it and nail it, you are to report it. And they are to get zeros. End of. I told my students before that I will not forgive them if I give them an assignment and they copy it from someone else. I said to them, I don't care how bad your English is. I don't care how difficult it is. If writing in English is going to give you a stroke, die. Do not copy. I'll never forgive you for that. And I'll tell the administration to kick your ass out of here. And if they decide that they won't do it, I'll embarrass you and them because they let you slide. I'll put it in the paper. When the local paper doesn't run it, the international paper will, and that will further embarrass the local paper for not running the story, for trying to cover it up. We do not play games here. And I'm being nice telling you this ahead of time. But doctor, what if somebody comes after you for it? You got co-citizens or co-nationals studying in the United States. If I get hurt here because I exposed cheating and wouldn't let the cheater slide and get away with it, the hell you think's going to happen if something happens to me? Some innocent student over there is going to catch it. Is that what y'all want? You can prevent all of this by simply being honest and not copying, because if you make the mistakes, I will help you. Because they were mistakes. But if you cheat, you are out. I caught one, I embarrassed him. And I was never nice to him after that. I didn't care that he looked like my son. I gave that boy the business. His resemblance to my son didn't soften my heart. And I love my sons as much as any of you love your kids. I love my son and my daughters as much as y'all do, but this kid here, I can't even call him a kid. He was older. He had no business doing this. Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you that what this guy did would not have flown where I am now employed. He might have gotten one warning, but he probably would have had to pay a fine. For the assignment itself. But if he did this on an exam or a graded writing assignment, he would have been out. He would have failed. He would have had to repeat the course. But the thing is, if you show up with somebody else, like you show up with your uncle or somebody that has some connections and you try to get out of it, then you're out. They expel you from the university just for doing that. They do not play better we are here. They will sit here inside and be like, pardon me for saying this, they will sit here in this country and they will look at everybody else and say, fuck what you call the Saudi way. This is the educational way. You do not do that here. And for trying to slither and slide past the consequences of the dumb shit you did, now you're out. You don't get the option to repeat anymore. Take your money and shove it up your ass. Now, they don't refund the money, but they pretty much say, forget the money we would have collected previously. There are other kids here whose parents have as much money, and they were on the waiting list. We'll give them a chance now. You shouldn't have brought your uncle or whoever it is you brought, trying to use a connection to get out of this. Now you're expelled. But I wanted you to know that you're going to face job stress when you go to these places. That's really why I opened this up all this time to record you. To record this, I wanted to tell you that you will face job stress, but what you don't face is a job stress being because you're black. See, where you live, the job stress you face oftentimes is because you're black and you have the audacity to not be some alphabet on top of being black. So you black, but you're not Billy Porter black. You black, but you Kobe Bryant black. Or Michael Jordan black. You have the audacity to be that kind of black. That's what you face there. Because what happens when they express an opinion? You already know. But then you turn around and you black, but you Billy Porter black. Oh, they let that slide. To a certain extent. Might throw you under the bus too later on, but see, here you're not going to face that. There are biases that people have here, but the idea of discriminating against somebody for being black in a job for which they are qualified is they're so distracted with other biases. But you will face these job stresses. And one of the things that it gives us an opportunity to do is to shame people who practice other biases that are not right. You have professors here, largely two nationalities. Both of them share borders with Saudi Arabia. And it's not Sudan. The Sudanese don't have this. But you got these other two nationalities whose nations share borders with Saudi, and these professors will be here discriminating against the students. And they don't discriminate in the way that you think. No, they just let the cheaters slide. They just let them go. They'll take the cheating report written by a Western professor, or maybe even by a Sudanese professor. Oftentimes, Sudanese professors just know when not to write these reports, but they'll take the cheating report written by a South African or a Canadian or an American or a British professor, and then they'll just throw them away. They'll dig the reports out and just throw away the reports so that the cheaters keep on going through and they keep polluting the ranks. I'm not joking. That's what they do. And so you get to a point where you simply cannot respect them anymore. You can't respect the Bedouin rat bastard cheaters. You can't respect the uncles and whoever else they bring in that are willing to try to intercede for them. And you can't respect the rat bastard professors that let them cheat. Sometimes maybe the dean of the department is the one being met with because the cheater's trying to protest the penalty. And then they look and they call the hall supervisor. And the hall supervisor says, oh no, there were no cheating reports on that day. Yeah, there nobody cheated that day. There were no reports. So somebody made up a report later. And the professor does not have any connection to the student, hasn't heard the name of the student, isn't even getting paid anything, isn't even being bribed. But out of hatred for the country, they will turn around and let every cheater go because they just want the ranks polluted with cheaters. That's how bad it gets. When you oppose that because you're going to be honest and professional, they will come against you for that, but it won't be because you're black. However, you were in a position to make them know that if you are black, just like the Sudanese, you aren't going to play these games of corruption. Don't do that. If you know to hide this from somebody from Sudan because they're honest, you better hide it from us too. And if we catch it, we keep it and report it. We will not lie. See, the Sudanese here are known for not being corrupt. They're known for their honesty. They're known for this. When farmers have a bunch of livestock and they want someone to take care of the livestock, they hire the Sudanese to do it because the Sudanese are they don't abuse animals, and the Sudanese don't lie. They don't say, well, listen, this animal has this illness and I need this money to go and to go to the vet and get this medicine. I already called the vet and he told me what the medicine cost. They don't do that. They will say, listen, this animal is showing these symptoms, or this animal's got this wound. When should we take the animal to the vet? They're just known for their honesty. See, when my last boss, last project manager, who was from Sudan, told me the bad news that the company refused to let me go to another employer. This was back in January. When he told me that, he said, as a matter of fact, they want you in Riyadh tomorrow. I said to him, okay, all they got to do is buy me either a train ticket or plane ticket and email me that, and I will follow that schedule. Do I need to pack to go and visit Riyadh for a meeting, or am I packing to move? Just let me know which one. He said, pack to move. I said, okay. Soon as I see the ticket in my email, I'll follow it. All of a sudden, I was ripped from my wife. But I made the company buy the ticket, and he bought the ticket because that's the honest thing to do. He bought it with the company's dime because that's the procedure anyway. And they fussed at him for that, and he said, no, what I did was honest. What was I supposed to do? Force him to buy the ticket himself? Why are you helping him? Because he's still our employee and you demanded that he show up in Riyadh. You cover the cost of his transportation. I found out later they fussed at him and he defended himself. That's the Sudanese. So there will be times when you're working where corruption is the norm and regarding something, and it's fading out here, but when you're working where corruption has been the norm, you may be opposed because you're not corrupt. But one of the things I have found is that when you are black and you're honest, there's a point past which they know not to persecute you for your honesty. Some point they just have to accept and respect that you were being honest. I've dealt with that before. I've taught, and I've had bosses that were sick and tired of me being honest and not letting cheaters cheat, not turning a blind eye and ignoring it. They got sick of me not doing it. And I told them, I'm not going to turn a blind eye. You told me to show up and supervise. I'm supervising this bastard cheater. I'm turning him in. Now punish him and kick him out this program or make him repeat the course. But they would later on say to my boss, my direct boss in my own company, listen, bring back black for the next semester. He will explain English very well to the students, and there were students that would report this. I've had situations where students that were cheaters and they were rat bastards and lazy and all that, they would go and make up stuff because they wanted to try to get me replaced with another teacher. They would do that. And the other students would turn around and say, no, listen, they're lying on black. Professor Black is explaining English, and then he gives us a lot of opportunity to practice. And these kids are playing on their phones. They're talking in Arabic during the class. They're sending us messages on WhatsApp during the class time. They're doing these things, and he won't let them do that. So they're upset and they're lying, but that's not what he's doing. I've had this happen multiple times. But I've not been singled out for being black. And I don't let anybody not know that I'm black. I don't let them not know this. They got to know. I make sure. And I've not been singled out for being black. I've been singled out for being honest. I've seen other teachers go through that. And there were times when I would befriend some of the Sudanese professors, and the way that they defend each other, and you can't really punish them for being honest, what I'd find out later on was being extended to me. In other words, others would be afraid to try to punish me because they were afraid the Sudanese would defend me the way they defend each other. That's what would happen. No playing around, no games. Not to that extent. There's playing around in his games. But when it came down to singling somebody out, because that's what you won't face. So I just wanted you to understand that you can still face job stress when you are working these other jobs, whatever they are, and you're working outside the West. But a lot of times, they may not like black folks or they may love black folks, but whichever one is the case, you're not going to be facing discrimination because you're black. That's what I wanted you to know. I hope that this helps you all. And there'll be more to come the next week, inshallah, as I learn the new job. And I wanted y'all also to, those of you who are trying to leave, I wanted you to be encouraged to continue on that path. But remember, what you're going to be doing is if you're going to be learning bits and pieces about, so you'll be learning bits and pieces about different countries. And as you learn these different things about these different countries, I wanted you to keep in mind that, sorry about that, but got to close and open a few things. I wanted you to keep in mind that a lot of the information that you're going to need about whichever country in which you want to study or learn, study or work, a lot of that information is going to be a lot of that information is going to be gleaned from the people that are from there and people that have lived and worked there before. You're not going to be able to simply go to any passport bro and ask them, or any SYSBM member and ask them about a country to which they've never been and in which they've never lived. They may be able to point you in the right direction to someone else who does know, but you won't be able to simply come to me and say, hey, look, I want to live in Portugal. Tell me about it. No, you have to ask me, do I know anybody that's going to know about having lived in Portugal, working in Portugal? Oh, okay. Well, it just so happens I know I worked with a teacher who decided to make a move to Portugal. And so he and his father, Muslim convert, he's from New Orleans, he decided to do it. Yes, if I can find him, then I can do this. I can get you in touch with him. I don't know, but he does. It just so happens. But if you were to say, hey, what's it like in Portugal? How the hell would I know? I've never been there, not even for a visit. If someone says to me, what's it like working in Qatar? Then I can say, well, I'll tell you what they told me. I honestly don't know firsthand. I can tell you what some others have told me about it. That's all I can do. But you just keep that in mind. But don't be discouraged in your pursuit. Even if you find information that makes you want to change countries, that's okay. That's normal. But don't be discouraged in your pursuit. Not at all. I hope this helps, and thank you all for listening. And as always, black heart, black mind, blackout, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Thank you for flying again with us on Jet Black Airways, where jet black is also a verb. You know the rest. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. On your way out of the jet black aircraft, you may punch the Cash App button, but only enter in numbers that are small and of no loss to you. If not for me, then for Brother Hayes. Gender, justice, forever.